Right now at 6, details about murder charges filed against a Montgomery County, Kansas woman. Plus, how a Joplin area committee is celebrating Juneteenth this weekend. And a look at how some 4-staters got a chance to tour a Webb City, Missouri cemetery. Murder charges are filed against a Montgomery County, Kansas woman. Thanks for joining us. I'm Bronte Sorotsky. Authorities say Megan McCutcheon was involved in a 2019 shooting in Montgomery County that led to the death of Kimberly Meeks. Earlier this year, McCutcheon's brother Benjamin Mason was sentenced to life in prison for shooting and killing Meeks. Authorities say even though she did not fire a weapon in the shooting, she was the alleged driver of the car where the gun was shot. They say under Kansas law, she will now be charged with premeditated attempt first-degree murder and premeditated first-degree murder by aiding Mason in the shooting. McCutcheon was already an inmate at the Topeka Correctional Facility for drug and theft charges. The Mini Hackney Community Service Center is celebrating their inaugural Juneteenth celebration of Southwest Missouri. They held what they called a living history event where different people portrayed historical figures such as Ida B. Wells, Josephine Salone, Yates, and others.
So we're really hoping that this is the beginning of learning more about Juneteenth. And so we're doing, as you can see, they're doing an art project painting the Juneteenth flag. We talked about the symbolism that goes along with that flag. So just to take some things from today and be able to share and move forward and hopefully build memories.
Juneteenth was first celebrated in 1866 and became a federal holiday in 2021. Now, Nick Kelly joins us with a first look at the weather. And Nick, it's pretty hot outside. Do we see any relief coming soon, or what are we seeing?
With a few showers out there trying to pump up Bronte are trying their best, but I think we're already getting tired of saying that. It's been hot and it's kind of humid throughout the course of the week, but it's again a day where it looks nice, certainly from 7th and Rangeline. Technically, a lot of us thankfully aren't dealing with heat advisories, with the exception of Anderson and Coffee counties. That won't expire until we hit about 8 o'clock this evening, but enough heat and enough humidity with a front, believe it or not, trying to make its way in from the east, actually, has been sparking some isolated thunderstorms. Nothing too strong, nothing severe. I don't expect there to be, as long as we hold on to these isolated slight chances for storms, at least to start the evening out. But a lot of us maybe getting lower to middle 90s out there right now. Still feels like the lower triple digits. It's a lot better than what we've seen in the past few days for sure. Once we get past sunset, Bronte, those rain chances, slight rain chances will fizzle out, but we will drop back into the lower 70s for tonight. But unfortunately, the heat sticking around for yet another week. We'll break down the numbers here in a few.
All right, thanks, Nick. Shiverdecker Golf Course partnered with Emancipation Celebration Committee for the 5th annual charity golf tournament. Teams of 4 teed off to raise money for the Park Days celebration that's held in August. There was food, prizes, and drawings throughout the day. Also, one lucky winner had the chance to hit the $1 million hole-in-one.
The main goal is, like I said, just to put on this tournament and support our Park Day event in the 4th of August coming up here this summer.
The drawing for the $1 million hole-in-one shot gave someone the opportunity to get a shot for 20-year annuity for $40,000 a year for $1 million. Well, Miami Pride Fest kicked off at Riverview Park today with 50 vendors, live music, food trucks, and bounce houses. The grand marshal of the event was this year's 2022 Miss Gay Oklahoma America. She led the march around the park to symbolize unity and support.
It's the perfect time for us to really just celebrate who we are, and especially being boxed in such a small town, it gives everybody an opportunity to do what they love and be who they love to be.
If you want to learn more about the Miami NEO Pride, you can visit our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Some Joplin area folks got the chance to tour a mausoleum today. Historic Murfreesburg Preservation partnered with the Webb City Historic Preservation Committee to provide the tours. Visitors had the opportunity to hear directly from the spirits of early 20th century Joplin and Webb City influencers. The tour also included theatrical vignettes and refreshments.
I grew up in Murfreesburg, and my great-grandmother's house is over there. And so I've been doing this since it first started. So to help people learn and understand what it means to preserve our history.
If you want to learn more about the history of Mount Hope Cemetery, you can visit our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. COVID-19 vaccines have finally been approved for children under the age of 5. CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky says the goal is to start administering them within the next week. CBS's Michael George reports from New York.
Coronavirus vaccines will soon be available for children under 5.
We've taken a major step forward today.
On Saturday, a CDC advisory committee voted unanimously to recommend the shots for infants as young as 6 months old. Committee members said the protection offered by the vaccines outweighs its risks.
We don't know everything that there is to be known about this. Yes, the data may change, but we have a bottom line here, which is that this infection kills children, and we have an opportunity to prevent that.
An estimated 18 million babies, toddlers, and preschoolers are expected to become eligible.
I feel comfortable in saying that that vaccinating will be a benefit, a net benefit.
It's unclear how parents will respond to the news. In a recent survey, less than 20% of parents with young kids said they would have them vaccinated immediately. 38% plan to wait and see. 27% said they don't intend to get their children vaccinated at all. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
Children between 5 and 11 years old have been eligible for the vaccine since November, but the CDC says less than 30% of them are fully vaccinated. And we take this time now to honor one of our many four-state heroes. Albert East Bale Jr. served in the Marines from 1951 to 1953. His hometown, Colson, Kansas, and we're proud to recognize Private First Class Albert East Bale Jr. tonight's four-state hero. Well, after the break, COVID cases are declining globally, but deaths due to the virus are increasing. Plus, keep an eye on the kids around trampolines no matter where they are. Also, why some vegetarian diets are healthier than others for some women. Nations across the globe are seeing fewer and fewer new cases of COVID-19, but more people have died recently. That's the latest from the World Health Organization. Officials say more than 8,700 people died from the virus last week. That's a 4% increase over the week before, breaking 5 weeks of declines. The U.S. had the most deaths, followed by China and Brazil. As for cases, new cases continue to decline after January's peak. Still, that's more than 3.2 million new cases last week. And the WHO says those numbers should be taken with a grain of salt since several countries decided to test less, which means fewer cases are showing up. Well, keep an eye on the kids around trampolines, no matter where they are, and why some vegetarian diets are healthier than others for some women. Michael George has a look at some of the week's top health stories.
A healthy plant-based diet is linked to a 14% lower breast cancer risk in postmenopausal women, according to a French study of over 65,000 women. That diet consists of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and nuts. Researchers also found that an unhealthy plant-based diet can increase a person's risk of breast cancer by up to 20%. That diet consists of fruit juices, refined grains, potatoes, sugar-sweetened beverages, and desserts. A new type of birth control could be on the way, and it's for men. Researchers are testing pills that suppress testosterone levels enough to lower their sperm count. They say the medications do not appear to cause any unacceptable side effects. Children who play at trampoline centers are more likely to be seriously injured than those who use trampolines at home. A study in the journal Injury Prevention found leg injuries, sprains, and the need for surgery were more common at the trampoline parks. Researchers believe this may be due to structural differences in the types of trampolines. Trampoline use accounts for nearly 100,000 ER visits by children each year in the U.S. Those are some of the week's top health stories. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
Later, why some Beaver Lake swimmers may have to find a new swim spot.
But first, we do have slight rain chances in the forecast. We'll see if it's enough to scrub out some of the heat going into next week when we come back. We just continue to be stuck in the same weather rut, hot and a bit humid once again, but thankfully the humidity has been allowed to drop off a bit, which, believe it or not, even though we did go back into the 90s today, is helping us out. Certainly when we look back over the past 36 hours. After we started out in the lower to middle 70s yesterday morning, we topped out in the mid 90s yesterday afternoon, back into the lower 70s this morning. But then we went right back into the mid 90s so far this afternoon. Fortunately, again, even though it's still hot, there's not a lot of humidity to work with. That's why we've been able to escape the heat advisories, at least for most of us. There is still a heat advisory out for Anderson and Coffee counties until we hit 8 o'clock this evening. But the other thing that I'm watching as we continue through the rest of the evening are these isolated storms, as advertised. Doug has pointed out, certainly possible as we get into the late this afternoon and into this evening. And based on the setup, they're actually coming at us from the east, moving generally toward the west, something we don't usually see a lot of, but a little more probable during the how about summer months around here. We do have a couple of storms in southern Delaware County, one over Jay, but more prevalent storms between Fayetteville and Fort Smith as you continue along 49. And on the Missouri side, just a few echoes I'm seeing around Mount Vernon in northern Lawrence County, Halltown, and then maybe a few light showers on the extreme northwestern sides of Table Rock Lake. Not looking potent, something I'll still watch as we go through the course of the evening, but this is how most of us are looking. It looks nice, but we're hot at 94 in Joplin, feels like 102 with that dew point in the lower 70s. It's the same story for much of the area. If you aren't getting any clouds or any breaks in the heat from the storms, you're mainly in the lower to middle 90s right now, with heat indices between 97 and almost 103 degrees in many spots. Going through the rest of the evening, the thunderstorm chances will taper off after sunset, and eventually I do expect us to drop back into the lower 70s for tonight. But it's again interesting how we're getting our slight storm chances today. It's a frontal boundary that's actually going to fall apart as we go into tomorrow, but this certainly has enough lift to give us the slight chance for some isolated storms this evening, and a bit of a weakness in this upper level ridge helping to steer these storms from the east to the west. This is still, however, our main weather driver, but its impact on our forecast is going to vary throughout the course of the week. Let me show you what I mean. The upper level high that's in place continues to steer some of those developing storms from east to west and maybe even to the northwest at times. But once we get after sunset, those rain chances are long gone. We will start mostly clear in the morning with overnight lows for many of us dropping back to 71. Tomorrow, that system dries out, high pressure mainly in control. Will be dry to wrap up the weekend tomorrow, 86 by noon. Highs around Joplin topping out near 91, with most of us actually in the lower 90s. Thankfully, the humidity is going to be kept in check. I think dew points will be a little lower tomorrow, so it'll feel like mainly the lower to middle 90s. And the same thing again for Monday. Even though the upper level ridge is still in control, this will keep us mainly in the 90s throughout the week. But once we hit Wednesday, the ridge will be far enough to the south where a weak frontal boundary will try to bring us some isolated storm chances Wednesday, Thursday, and potentially going into Friday as well. But as long as we're underneath that ridge, temperatures are going to stay high with some relief from the heat on some of the nights ahead. Let's go 91 tomorrow and Monday for your Father's Day and Juneteenth officially tomorrow. Mid-90s Tuesday and Wednesday, maybe a little dip on Thursday with those slight rain chances, Bronte, but we are not shaking off these 90s anytime soon, I'm afraid.
Oh, gosh. Well, I mean, it is June.
Yeah, but on the other hand, within the next few nights, we will be dipping back into the upper 60s to lower 70s. That really does help us out, at least give us temporary breaks from the heat.
Definitely. Thanks, Nick. Well, don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, the KOAM Skywatch weather app. And if you had plans to go to Beaver Lake in Arkansas, you may have to find a new lake. Officials from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers have said several swim beaches at Beaver Lake have been closed. They said they are closed because of the high levels of E. coli that have been discovered, as well as submerged debris and obstacles. A total of 9 swim areas have been closed. You can find a full list of which areas have been closed on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. And if your signal of KOAM or Fox 14 becomes glitchy this week, it's a sign of progress. We will be broadcasting from a lower temporary antenna while a crew installs a new, more technically advanced antenna at the top of our tower. It's the final step in our More Power project. This will allow some viewers who previously lost our signal to get us once again. And if all goes to plan, we'll be back up and stronger than ever soon. And Men's College World Series continues today.
Yeah, Arkansas playing their first game today against 2-ranked Stanford. Those highlights are coming up. Plus, the Midwest Mustangs are looking for a spot in the tournament championship. We'll have that next. The Midwest Mustangs are back in action at the Pitt State Tournament. The Mustangs entered the day with a win and a tie. Today they face off against NBA. Cam Custer gets the offense going, smacks it into center for a double. Logan Myers scores on the play. Then Cade Beshore hits a line drive to left. That brings Custer home, 2-0 Mustangs after 2. Next inning, bases loaded for Myers. He gets it to drop for an RBI single. To the fourth now, NBA loads the bases this time. Colt Ungehauer gets a strikeout to get out of the jam. He goes the distance today. The bottom half, Mustangs build on their lead. Alex Kester sends it through the gap in right. Another run scores. Mustangs run away with it, winning 9-1. They will play for the championship tomorrow. College World Series, Arkansas playing Stanford. Excitement from the first pitch of the game. Braden Webb hits it deep to the wall. The ball actually hits off the outfielder's head there. It's a triple for Webb. He later scores off a sac fly. Cardinals tie it in the bottom half. Brock Jones homers to left, but that is nearly all the offense Stanford has in them today. All Arkansas from here on out. Fifth inning, 2 on. Chris Lanzilli sends it out of the park. Razorbacks score 5 in the inning. The ninth inning, another big one for the Hogs. Caden Wallace, 2-run blast. Arkansas silences 2-ranked Stanford 17-2, the final. In the majors, Kansas City aims for back-to-back wins against Oakland today. Brad Keller dealing on the mound. He pitches 7 shutout innings, allows 1 hit and strikes out 6. Ryan O'Hearn off the bench breaks a 0-0 tie in the 7th with an RBI double. Royals go on to win 2-0, and that's 3 straight for Kansas City. St. Louis plays game 2 of a 3-game set with Boston this evening. The Cards lost the opener 6-5. Dakota Hudson on the bump today as St. Louis tries to even this series. This one just getting underway at Fenway. We'll have an update at 10. And that's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
Well, move over, Arthur. The San Diego Zoo is introducing the public to a new aardvark. Meet the zoo's newest female aardvark. The cub was born May 10th and is the first aardvark cub born at the zoo in more than 35 years. Did you know that the literal translation of the word aardvark derived from Afrikaans is earth pig, and this girl is thriving, weighing in at just over 13 pounds, which is triple her birth weight. The cub will remain in an off-view habitat with her mother for about 2 months, giving them time to bond. The zookeepers expect that when the mama is ready, she'll bring her cub outside to share with guests at the Africa Rock stage. The little girl doesn't have a name yet. Oh, that was so cute how she ran into the camera. And if you're ever on the go and want to still be able to watch our newscast live, just download the KOAM Plus app. It's available free of charge on the Apple and Google Play stores, as well as Roku and Amazon Fire TV. Just search for KOAM Plus. All right, well, Nick, let's do a final check of our weather.
I don't know if we want to, considering it's just going to be more of the same.
Right.
But we'll be watching for a few isolated storms across the southern half of the viewing area, and a couple of spots this evening to start things out. But we'll be dry overnight, dry tomorrow, but still hot with highs of 91, even with slight rain chances. So times next week, Bronte, we are not going to shake out the 90s anytime soon.
Oh man, okay, well I'll have to dress appropriately. Danny, final check of sports?
Well, the Midwest Mustangs win another one today. They will play in the tournament championship at Pitt State tomorrow afternoon.
And that's our time for now. Remember, we're always on at KOAMnewsnow.com and with the KOAM News Now app. Thanks for making us part of your night, and we'll see you back here later tonight.
Salon service is provided by the Wild Side in Pittsburgh for over 25 years.